Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Co-op. I'm Nathanias, and I'm not going to be able to record one of these tomorrow because tomorrow I have to wake up at 4 in the morning to cast the War Chest Team League. We, for anybody that hasn't been keeping up to date on that, our team is currently 2-2 in matches. We just defeated Rotterdam's team that had Rainer on it. And we are 9-9 in maps, which is incredible. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. But yeah, our first match, our matches usually start around, like, I think between 6 and 7:30. But because we don't know how long the other matches will go, that's why I've got coffee. Sorry for the yawn. That's why I've got the coffee. Hello, Banjo Squid. Hello, Pony Danza. Pony Danza, great name, by the way. A very punny name. Could almost call yourself Honey Danza. Oh, we got this map.
Minerals don't grow.
We're continuing forward here. We've got our Swann Prestige. We're still on the first Prestige for Swann. Grinding it out, getting everything done.
Hi, Commanders. I thought everyone had forgotten about me out here.
Not everybody had forgotten about me.
Visitors I've had.
You smoking that dang terrazine, Statman. That's what happens.
Someone has been destroying my harvesting bots.
You can't
Provide an escort for them.
You can't just hit terrazine every day, all day. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. Hey, Mergiker, how you doing, buddy? But yeah, so quick reminder, refresher for anybody who hasn't tuned in for a little bit. But they did add Prestige to co-op, so we reset our level. We got a couple of cool new abilities. We lost a couple of our cool abilities. But basically, the idea of Prestige is not to make your commander overpowered. The idea is to change how the commander plays in the event that you're, for example, going into a mutation where the top bar abilities of your laser drill would not be very useful. If you think to yourself, you know, I just can't use pulse cannon as often as I need to for it to work in this mission with this mutator. Well, now you can have the area of effect Draken laser drill. So that's actually the ability that we've got now. We've traded these two abilities. We do not have concentrated beam. We do not have pulse cannon. Instead of having to micromanage those abilities, the game will now manage it for us by making the laser deal its damage in an area of effect. So it does splash damage, and it also slows down enemy units that it hits. This includes the units that get hit by the splash damage from the laser. So in a situation where that happens and the units are taking that heat, you're going to be able to keep everything going. I think is my graphics driver crashing? Are we dead? Are we borked? Is it all over? Is it all over? That was me. Are we still recording? What happened? Do things look okay? What happened here? This is what I get for messing with things. Is the stream still looking okay right now? I don't know what's going to happen to my recording. Let me just push a few buttons and turn a few cogs there. It's a little borked. We're slowly coming back. All right, it should be good now. If it's not, I'll just restart this whole entire thing. Sorry about that. Sometimes things just derp a little bit on you. When you push your system to its limits.
Ooh, I've located a soon-to-be active geyser. Make sure to escort the bot I'll send to harvest it.
There we go. Sound okay. Video stuttering a bit. Seems back now. Awesome. 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 So I got my coffee. Oh, that's a thing. That's interesting. We might, I don't know. We'll see if it just blows up again. We're good now? Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Seahorse. Calling a drone. Starting up a drone.
Gotta love that, right? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks, kid.
Kinda low on the minerals there.
Tyke is calling Swann a kid. Just, does that make anybody else a little uncomfortable? Just a little bit, just a smidge, perhaps.
Okay, I'm sending a bot to collect the geyser's terrazine. Don't let it get destroyed. These guys are smashing my bots to pieces.
Only gets
I really
4
don't wanna
bots?
pick up after them.
Why do I feel like you used to get more? You probably do get more bots. It's probably like one of the level up things.
I see you, enemy scum! They're going to attack my bots, Commanders.
It's okay, I've got my bots. I've got my bots. They will protect you. With arms like that, Tychus can call me whatever he wants. Ay, 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 you monster. But see, here's the nice thing. So that laser drill not only slows them down, but it deals that AoE damage. So it makes it a lot easier for you to not have to micro as much. Like, even if you don't think that it's the coolest ability, just the fact that the laser drill can kind of more automatically kill everything for you is a pretty massive buff. If you're a low APM player, especially. If you're like, Nate, you know, it's just hard for me to click around on everything, and you know, I don't really want to have to manage the abilities of the drill that much and have to focus fire down specific units in a clump. But now you don't have to, because your laser drill is going to automatically kill all the units that are in a clump because it does splash damage, right? So those are just a couple of the really nice benefits of using tech like that.
That means it's tea time.
It's pretty easy to spend all the Vespine gas once we have the mineral income going well. So I do like to float my gas early, if not only for the fact that it gives me a bit of a buffer as we get a little bit closer to getting things. So we got the ability for the tanks to get fixed up. We actually did not level up from the last video to get the starport cache. We should have that after this one because we're at like 99.9999999% EXP there. Although I would like to get the laser drill damage. I do think that I could perhaps try to get my armories faster with this prestige. Only because raising the laser drill damage, like the drill is an actual significant part of my army DPS now with this change. Like before the drill, I mean, you guys all know. If you played Swann, you know the drill can be a little bit finicky. She's a cruel mistress. She's a cruel mistress, the Draken laser drill. She don't want no scrubs. She doesn't want scrubs. And as we all know, scrubs are guys that can't get no love from the Draken laser drill. So you absolutely want to make sure that you're getting those upgrades for those. So 6 bots are at level 15. See, I forget about that stuff because like I said, I had Swann maxed out. I have not been able to play with a low-level Swann on my main actual account. I haven't been able to just play with a low-level Swann for lulz. Even if it was just for the lulz with no benefit. I haven't been able to play low-level Swann for the lulz since the first week co-op existed. As many of you, I'm sure, have, if you've been watching over the years, you may have seen that Swann was my favorite. Actually, I used his announcer exclusively over anybody else up until the point where Blizzard was like, yo, Nate, do you want to be in the game? And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm done with the Swann announcer now. Did you guys know that the Swann was actually the least popular announcer? This isn't really public information, but it's old information now. So when they first showed us how the caster voice packs were doing, they showed us like all the character voice packs, all of our own. They're like, here's how you stack up against Diva in terms of usage and purchases. In Control and I were pretty low. We were pretty low down there. In Control and I were the least popular. The most popular was Diva, actually, I think, was just in general the most popular announcer that people used. And then, weirdly enough, actually, the SC boy, the Chinese announcers, I mean, I guess you have a pretty big user population over there. That was actually more popular than many of the in-game characters. That was actually, from what I saw, that was like literally the most popular of all the casters, well above that. And then obviously, like the best English casters that were high up there would be, you know, that was, I think it was Total Biscuit, because he had been out the longest probably. And then I think Day 9's had only recently released, so there wasn't as much there. But
Seismic activity detected.
stuff like that's cool. But yeah, Swann was the least popular. So there you go. Swann was actually the least popular co-op, the least popular campaign announcer that they put in the game. I need my science vessels. I need my science vessels. But yeah, Swann was the least popular. Loved him in the campaign, but didn't buy a voice until I bought you an In Control at the same time. Yeah, no, I totally feel that. I'm not trying to throw shade at Swann. Swann knows I love him. Swann knows that I love him. But I just figured some of you guys might find that interesting. All right, let's get all the upgrades now, boys. Let's get them all.
Your allies being attacked.
I'll go for Thors as my anti-air with this comp since we're playing against mech. I think the Goliaths will be a bit worse if I ever need to attack into siege tanks.
Oh, they're kind of impatient, so I'm letting them out now.
I am letting them out now. I want to keep SCVs with the army.
Hostile forces are advancing on my bots.
Oh, I got to upgrade the drill
No
again.
respect for science.
What's that? What's our... Your research is ready. Upgrade complete.
Hey, what's going on?
That looks cool, but you can't build there.
Oh, I tried to tell the SCVs to build a bunch of stuff, but they actually didn't do it at the right pace because they automatically try to finish building the other structures. That was actually one of the better changes, I think, for the game. I'll lower the volume a little bit there. I actually think that that was one of the better changes that they ended up making to the game, was when they did that. Yeah, I think because of the 4K 144 hertz, though. I think with how graphically intense everything actually still ends up being, using NVENC to encode the stream has been a little bit risky. So that's why I think that's why we had the GPU, the display driver crash, just because I've got a lot of very high performance parameters that it's probably not used to trying to run NVENC under. Because some folks were like, why wouldn't you want to just use NVENC? And I'm like, I think I'd like to limit everything to my CPU. It seems like my graphics card is getting worked more than I think. But everyone's like, just use NVENC anyway. And I'm like, okay, here we are. But it is usually fine when I'm not recording. I just have to lower the power usage on my graphics card. For some reason, only when I'm streaming and playing StarCraft does my graphics card ever crash. My GPU, now mind you, then I turn my overclock all the way up when I'm playing like Call of Duty Modern, like Warzone. I'll go play COD Warzone and my GPU will get to 87 Celsius with my overclock completely cranked up, and my display driver never crashes. I don't get any artifacting. It's pretty much, I think it's just a lot of strain to run high performance settings and use NVENC at the same time. So there's a little bit of tech nerdage for you. A little bit of tech nerdage for you over there. Big shout out to my boys in the YouTube comments, by the way. I know I do record all of these live on my Twitch channel at Nathanias, but not everybody can tune in live. But I have really been you know, surprised by how many folks have come out to say nice stuff, how happy they are to see the co-op content coming back. And I'm really happy to be bringing the co-op content back. The only reason I ever stopped doing it is because I just got bored. There just wasn't really anything being added. We hadn't gotten a new mission in a long time. And I know I didn't really do a video series on Mengsk either. That one's completely on me. I actually enjoyed playing Mengsk so much. I accidentally leveled him up in one day off stream while I was drunk because I was like, dude, this is the most fun. I'm just going to spam orbital bombardments and kill everything. So I hope you guys can forgive me for that one. It was definitely worth missing out on making a series for because I just had a lot of fun personally. And sometimes I got to prioritize myself having a good time over trying to make money. So I was like, yeah, I actually couldn't put Mengsk down. He was absolutely my favorite. Upgrade your GPU cooling and double the OC. Well, I have an EVGA 2080 Ti Ultra XC, so it already has the massive heatsink on it. My actual problem lies a little bit more in the way that I just don't actually have. It's a lot of weird parameters, I think, for this system that under normal circumstances wouldn't be an issue. But since I'm running a lot of stuff, I'm trying to push everything to the limit all the time. The graphics card streaming seems to be the one thing that starts to bug out when I push my system to the limit. So that's why we just had that little crash, that little dip earlier. Honestly, I was pretty terrified that the whole stream would crash, but the stream is still up. People are still talking. Do I need this many Thors? I think I should get more tanks. We could do with some more tanks. And one more depot. Just need one more supply depot. Let's get the tank in position to cover the objective. And we should be good. In what conditions do you play? 4K, 144 hertz? Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think I'd have any performance issues using a 3950X CPU, which is 32 cores, or 16 cores, 32 threads. I didn't think I would have any issues using that as my main CPU with a 2080 Ti. I did not expect for it to still have performance issues streaming StarCraft, at least, at 4K. But I was doing a lot of work on this yesterday, which is why I bring it up, because I know I've mentioned it on a couple of the videos actually already. I've mentioned that we have been I've already mentioned on a few of the videos that I'm trying to make sure that we can get some better performance for the recordings. I'm uploading these in 4K 60. I want them to actually be 4K 60. I don't want them to be like 4K 40 FPS because, you know, some settings are eating into each other. I'm coming. Bzz, bzz. Look at that AoE. All three tanks getting hit by the drill. It's beautiful. Beautiful. All right, let's keep a few Thors at each base. There we go. And I'll keep a little contingent to try and protect from the backside, I think is a good play. These guys should be able to hold their own. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Pack your bags and get on board. We're going to Disneyland. Yeah. Heat sink is old school. You're demanding so much from it. Yeah. Well, honestly, I've always been a little bit scared to do like a closed loop computer system because I don't actually have enough money to replace my machine if it were to break. I do have a backup system that is nowhere near as high performance. So that's the only reason I haven't tried to do like closed custom loop or anything, because I'm just terrified that if something does break, you know, I'm bad. If the CPU fan breaks for some weird reason, then I actually have the CPU water cooled, but I have like a closed loop Corsair cooler. So like, yeah, they sponsor me and I trust them. So honestly, I just don't expect that to ever be a problem, but graphics card cooling gets a little bit more interesting. I'm kind of scared to try and take it apart and put a water block on it, if I'm being honest. I've never built a water-cooled machine. That was one of my goals for this summer, but I lost about 70% of my income from last summer. So I had to put those plans on hold a little bit. Normally, I think I would have done like 4 or 5 more gigs by this point. Actually, by this point last year, I think I had done like maybe 15 shows that that just didn't materialize because of, you know, you guys know, current events that I can't talk about on YouTube without getting demonetized. Yeah. I don't really need anything else. Pretty sure my army's unkillable, guys. I think we did it. We beat this mission. We've got like a couple more objectives to go, but we pretty much beat it. I don't think there's any way he could kill my army with the laser drill support. How is he lighting everything on fire? He's not using a thing. He's getting that oil everywhere. I love it. I love it. Some good blaze play. It's nice to have competent co-op teammates. We haven't really talked much at all this game. He's a strong but silent type. Would you guys smoke Terrazine if they made it legal? You'd try it. Don't tell me you wouldn't try it. Don't tell me you wouldn't at least try a hit of Terrazine. Don't tell me. All right, I don't want to hear your fake excuses. Oh no, I'm clean, Nate. I would never try Terrazine. You seen Tosh's dreads? You think people get dreads like that without Terrazine? I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Maynard is a Terrazine user, just from his dreads alone.
It's like a good driver, just drive and don't talk.
Exactly. Just drive and don't talk. Exactly. That's a good co-op teammate. I don't mind if my co-op teammate talks, though. People in co-op are usually not mean, because no matter what they do, like, I generally have a pretty good grip on the strategies I need. I feel like I think co-op is probably the least toxic mode I've ever played in StarCraft. At least once a day, someone in Direct Strike will tell me I'm not allowed to go gas first. And then, you know, they tell me mean things, and then I win the game, and I'm like, oh, looks like gas first wasn't so bad after all. And then they send me 7 messages telling me to go to hell or something like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah. But in co-op, I think the worst I've ever had in co-op, BM-wise, was somebody once told me that, I think, what was it? They told me that Stukov's mech is really bad. Someone was like, Nate, dude, I can't believe you're building tanks with Stukov. What's wrong with you? I'm like, bro, they just patched their range to 18. I don't know how to tell you this, but on the train mission, Stukov, you can just mass tanks. They're incredible. The only thing that Stukov mech is bad against is if they go big air. As long as you aren't playing versus like the eventual battlecruiser type army, Stukov's mass tank obliterates any ground army. 18 range siege tanks that blow up with a bunch of other units are just absolutely insane. So rare that I get full upgrades. It's because I gave him all that gas. I took those gas drones really early on. I think that helped. It is a longer mission. I'm happy for him. I'm just like, yeah, it is a bit of a longer mission. I feel like it's a little bit easier to get those upgrades. I kind of feel the same way, to be honest. My army can't die at this point. Well, I can't really lose. Can't really lose anymore.
My bots are taking damage. Terrible, terrible damage.
Sometimes they do try to spawn a wave here. But outside of that, it's pretty much the only thing you got to worry about. His Odin is clapped. Oh my god, did I build Goliaths? I didn't even realize I built Goliaths. Okay, you can blow them up. You can blow up the Goliaths. I don't need those.
All night without giving me a call.
All right, let's go. Boom, boom, Thors. Boom, boom.
Jeez, commanders, can't you keep a hold of aggro?
I'm keeping a hold of aggro, dog. There's just a lot of enemies. Those battle cruisers are annoying. Doesn't matter. We're gonna make it through. This bot's already long gone. This enemy wave, I feel like it came far later than it should have. Is it just me, or did that wave seem like... The other weird thing about Swann that I always forget is I can salvage all of this if I want to just be rich for no reason.
You didn't build your base just for it to get blown up, did you?
All right, let's kill this final wave. Let's clap them.
Your allies are in combat.
And that's the power of Terran, baby. Get on board. Here we go.
Your friends are in a bit of a pickle over there.
Oh no, my El Tanko Decijo, 18 range. Yeah, I feel like people didn't read that patch note. But people were like, yeah, Stukov mech is still really bad. I'm like, dude, his tanks have 18 range. Is you could shoot from your main base at the trains. All you got to do is build 1 million missile turrets around them. It's definitely not always good. It's not. I'm not going to say that it's as generally useful as like bio, but oh, we're fighting, huh? We fighting? I'm dancing my Thors. GG, baby. Hey, JW. Thank you for the raid, man.
That's pretty good. That cracked me up. But seriously, let's get the hell out of here.
I agree, Stetman. That was a fun little match. Good teammate. Nice, fun, clean game of co-op. Yeah, I think they might do some GPU stuff, but man, I just don't want to risk taking something apart like that, you know? I like my warranties. I like my plausible deniability for if something breaks, being able to have it fixed without, you know, having to drop stacks to get it taken care of. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Coffee and Co-op. I didn't really drink much of my coffee, so I'm gonna take a big gulp. I've been on this protein zero sugar coffee kick thing as my breakfasts lately. Delicious. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.